here. 22 tooth pinion. You go over here. Wing mounts. Shock shafts. One of these. Only got two. Should have two, but no other one's on back order. Rear wing mount. Shocks. Drive shafts. Oh wait, no, both of them. Nope. Yeah, I got both of them. Front and rear. The old rich shims for the rear diffs, front diffs. Shock shafts again. Drive shafts again. And these are all spare parts. Matter of fact, this ain't got a little bit in it. That's copter. It goes over here. And save this. This goes in the camera bag. So I'll just leave this right there for now. Okay, this is a Kraton update. I haven't finished taking it apart yet. There's a lot wrong with the Kraton, and I know it ain't got nothing to do with the two batteries I ran through it. The only thing that was broke on the Kraton that I was told about was the crack in this upper roll tower, and it was missing the clip. Oh. See, that's a shredder part. That doesn't go there. That goes in there. Okay, we got two control arms here. These are lowers for the front of the Kraton. Now, that's pretty torn up. That didn't happen in a couple of batteries. That's where the droop screw goes. Or the whatever, something's hitting it. And this is the other side, same thing. It's all chewed to hell. In the automotive world, when something breaks, we examine it to see why it broke and possibly how long it was broken. That'll tell us where to look for problems that are being caused. And on this, you see a lot of dirt and wear on the brake. So this has been cracked or broken a while. And one thing I noticed about the Kraton when I first got started with is that I couldn't keep the steering right. But because I'm new to RC, I didn't know what was causing the problem, so I just blew it off to a quirky servo. And me not knowing how to adjust the radio, well, I was wrong, okay? I was wrong. It wasn't a servo and it wasn't a radio. And I really didn't give it a second look until the drive shaft popped out. Well, when the drive shaft popped out, a lot of things came to light. First off, the anodizing is coming off. On this one, it just started. On this one, it's been gone a long time. Now, this drive shaft has since been straightened, okay, because I can straighten these back out pretty much to factory. But I'm not going to put this back on this Kraton. I got something else to do with that. Shredder. Kraton. New springs. You guys go over here. Kraton drive shafts. And actually these are that. Yeah, these are the drive shafts. they're okay. This one has a little warp in it, not much. I straightened it out, so they're good to go now. Now, the electronics on the Kraton, as far as I know, they're okay. But she needs bearings, and if you look at that, you can see that it needs a bearing really, really bad. Okay, I mean really, really bad. There's no lube on nothing. In another video that's going to be uploaded, inside here, this is vented, but inside this, the dirt was so thick and so packed that the ring gear on the diff is cutting into the housing on the bottom where this mounts. So obviously I need diffs, so that's 2 diffs I got to get for this. In the meantime, I've got also have pins coming and a good frame for the servo aluminum frame, and of course everything else. The front shock tower, I don't know if you can't, I don't know if you can see this, but this thing is bent back about 1/4 inch. Is horrendous. And these, I put these on here when I first got it. I bought them for the Italian, but they didn't fit. And I don't think they make them specifically for the Italian, because in further research, what I found out is that if they don't fit your model exactly, you have to modify the model, which would mean just drilling a couple of holes. So that's no big deal. But the Italian, for the money, garbage. $350 paperweight. Now let's get to this. This is a shredder. Shredders don't have a hole for the gear. Everybody knows that. This got a shredder. Got an indentation. So I'm gonna put that back there for a second. Okay, when I first got the shredder, I put a battery in it, had my recorder going, it went about 20 feet and it stopped. This is the spur gear that was in the shredder. And in the review that caused me to go ahead and buy the shredder, the individual mentions the fact that he didn't like that there was a plastic spur gear on a vehicle this size, and it was a 4S unit. That same individual converted the shredder to 6S and left this plastic gear on it. Are you kidding me? Now, one of the videos uploaded shows the shredder catching fire, because after I got the ring gear, put the recorder on, went outside, and I ran it down the street, down and back, and I came back in, put the body on, and larger batteries, fresh batteries, so that I could record, because I was happy it's running, right? Well, 2 minutes later, the ESC basically blows up. So I don't know what to check now, because I thought it was the batteries. Okay, because I had a couple of flight batteries. What did I do with you guys? You're in here someplace amongst all my junk. Where are my flight batteries? You're not up there. You're not up there. You're not down there. Anywho, they'll show up while I'm doing this. No. So, I think that there's a problem with the ESC. So I clean up the frame. I ain't worried about the body. I threw the body out in the shed in the back, because it was all black and warped like crazy. One side of the body that come down was folded over under the top. So I took the ESC out of the Kraton and plugged it in to the shredder. I shouldn't have done that, because as soon as I did, it smoked it. Smoked it. What happened to that ESC was this. I don't know if you can see this, but it's corroded. tons of corrosion in here. It's all green. Get this up here. Look in here. Look at them wires. The wires are. Look at that. That's been, you know, that takes a while for all that. I mean, it's coming out of that magnet. It's all bad, and it's all very bad. That in itself wouldn't take that motor out. The bearings are shot on the motor. This is where armature was rubbing up against the magnetic base of the windings. And look at that. And the ceramic coating is missing. It was all coming apart. There's another place with that. I mean, it's just tearing it up. And from here all the way around to here, this thing was rubbing. So this thing was in a serious hurt. And probably for a good while, but nothing was done about it. Didn't happen on my watch. I take care of my stuff better than that. I mean, and this is ugly. The corrosion that's visible here is just insane. Look at that. You know, that's corrosion. That's not dust or dirt. That's corrosion. You can see where it's rubbing on the magnets. You can see where it's been rubbing and hitting. Okay. So there you have it, folks, who was wondering what the hell happened. This is what happened. Okay. It was beat up before it got here. And as far as the cavalry is concerned, $350. Oh well. So the bad for the Kraton ESC, that's on me, because I plugged it in there thinking that the ESC went bad. But the ESC wasn't bad. What took the ESC out was the motor, because it didn't just fry that ESC. It fried the steering servo, it fried the receiver, everything in there electric. Goodbye. Okay. So there you have it. Now, what is that? Nope, that's shredder. Don't go in there. That's Kraton. This is shredder stuff. Okay, it's dead. It ain't gonna move. That's shredder on the crossbar. Dead. Ain't gonna move. There's that new spur gear. Well, I don't need this right now. Save it for later, maybe something. I don't know. I ain't figured out what to do with it yet. And there's the top brace for it. Yeah, I've been kicking it around, deciding whether I want to try and recoup some of my losses or just stick with it, because the kind of work that I do when I start fixing things, you know, I like bulletproof. Now, they have a lot of gun matches out in Crawford County, law enforcement, private citizens, and I'm the only individual that is barred from participation with a long gun. And matter of fact, last 2 years, I can't even show up at all other than to just watch, because I did something with a pistol, and they like, hell no. They won't put one nickel in the pot if they think I'm on the list. Those who know me anyway. So anyway, but that's how I build stuff, including my rifles, because my rifles are buttonhole shooters. This is a Redcat shredder that burned up. $350, never had a battery run through it. Burned up. Okay. Now it's a Redcat chassis with an Arrma BLX system in it. I ordered a new ESC BLX, and I took this thing out to the shop, and I put it on my mill, and I drilled all the holes I needed in the right place to mount this hardware, with the exception of the ESC, because I wasn't sure where I was going to put it. The steering servo came off an Exceed 1/8 scale gas buggy. Oh, what's he doing with a gas buggy? Well, just because I didn't have any electrics don't mean I didn't have any RCs. Matter of fact, I got about $25,000 to $30,000 in RCs. Copters, cars, of quite a bit going on in here. In the meantime, I got a fan on the motor. The 17 tooth that was on the shredder originally, which is too much for the weight and that motor, by the way, is still on here for the sake of testing. Now, in my previous video, you can hear the Kraton whining and screaming, and it's 300-400 feet away. When this thing is 50 feet away, you can't hear it, just barely, but you don't hear none of that screaming, and it was screaming because the differentials are shot. On the Kraton, these output shafts from the diffs, they're just little bitty nubs. They're gone. Okay. New shock shafts, new composites, new lower arms, new drive shafts, because them drive shafts, just because I straighten them don't mean I like them. Until I heat treat them, I ain't gonna mess with them, and I'm gonna heat treat them. These are the composite wing mounts. I'm gonna make mine out of aluminum. I'm not going to give them 40 bucks for it. Not for something I can make. I got like $5,000 worth of steel and aluminum and stainless stuff sitting in my welding shop that I can't use because I'm not allowed to go in there and work no more. My body warms up. I'll be asleep for 2 or 3 days and sick as a dog. Be worse than a woman 8 months pregnant having morning sickness, because I get up in the morning and throw up and I go back to bed and continue to sleep till it wears off. I bought wheelie bars. I'm going to figure out if my machine will make this portion, just this part, out of aluminum. Because if it does, once I can get that done, if it's worth the time for me to make them, I'm home free, because I'll be able to make wheelie bar bumper rigs that'll do some stupid stuff to protect your RCs, because I'm not playing. A guy on my channel asked me to make him one. Here it is. And in the process of trying to figure out how to make it more adjustable and hold 2 wheels, I realized that all you got to do is get a longer bolt and bam, and that's it. Hell, you could even put 3 wheels in there, or as many as you want. Now, mine has bent 15-20 times, bent up here, bent down here, and I pushed down on the back of the RC so that this is grounded and it's bolted just like that, and then I push down on it to bend it back. So there's flexibility instead of costing you 20 bucks every time you land on that, because it breaks. I've watched enough videos and watched guys break them, and they break them a lot. You can see, well, yeah, let me show you that. You can see the job on the bottom end. You see some empty holes where things aren't mounted, motor mount, etc. Because the motor mount, what I do with it? Here's the motor mount. Look at that. Oh, beat the hell up. Yeah. But every screw that I put in here looks just like it's supposed to. It's countersunk, even with the chassis, just about a 16th or maybe a 32nd of an inch below surface, so that it's not being hit by the ground when the vehicle grounds out. And it's got a BLX mount system, and I'm gonna probably mount the ESC, you know, where it is, move it toward the center just a little bit, because I don't want them wires bent going the wrong way. And when you guys set what y'all call a gap here, in the racing world and in the world of serious automotive mechanics, we call that setting the lash on your rear end. And if your rear end lash isn't set right, it costs a ton of money, because getting it adjusted run you $300-400 in the shop, okay, just to get an adjustment on your vehicle, your home, you know, family car type thing. So, you know, go to the auto parts store and buy yourself a wire feeler gauge set. Gonna cost you 10-15 bucks top. You might want to buy a complete set of different type of feeler gauges, because next time I go out to the shop, I'm gonna bring all mine here and do a video on that. The tools that I have that I use to build engines and transmissions and customized frames for cars and trucks are applicable to these RCs, because the only difference we really have here is size, power system, and plastic. You won't find plastic chassis on these cars out here in the real world. They're made of stainless, they're made of titanium, this is that, blah 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 blah. So in the meantime, we got a BLX here. I got a new motor coming. I got a an 8S motor and an 8S ESC en route. You guys that have shredders, redcatdealer.com. Guy's name is Steve. He also has the computer, no problem computer channel. He compares things. He uses tools when he does it. And the reason I started watching him is because he pulled out one of these. It wasn't as nice as this one, but it worked. And he's talking about stuff that makes sense. And he doesn't diss something just because he personally doesn't like it. He says it is what it is, because it is. So, 350 paperweight, 350 paperweight. Don't buy a used RC from somebody who don't have time for you when you start having problems. Don't buy a used RC from somebody that you know doesn't take care of stuff, because, you know, I made an assumption. I made an assumption that if I'm going to do business with this guy, he's going to take these apart and clean them up and check them and make sure that I'm going to be happy with them. And based on what I got when I called the guy up and I said I had a problem. I need to know what causes this. And the first thing out of his mouth is that can't happen. And he got defensive talking about the vehicle's durability and stuff. And I'm like, that's not what I asked him. I asked him what would cause the problem so I could fix it. I didn't call to blame nobody about nothing. And since I've come up with all this, zero. So, you know, I was a supporter. I can't support that for this kind of treatment. So you guys out there, you want to watch reviews on what something will perform and do, great channel. When it comes to doing business, however, unless you've got some type of proof that it's at least been looked at, and that any individual has time to talk to you after they get that much money from you, because the other part of the deal has not been mentioned. No part of the deal has been mentioned publicly, so it's like I don't exist, you know. And I've been supporting this person and sharing their videos and referring them, and I got nothing but attitude. So, you want to buy a used RC, buy it from somebody you know takes care of them and has time to deal with you. Don't give your money to somebody who don't have time to deal with you, especially if you're new. Because if I didn't have my skills, I'd be sitting in there watching TV doing something else, and this stuff would probably be in the trash. But I could probably build one of these blind and from. Matter of fact, I'm going to build one from scratch, because with all the stuff I got, I'm going to build my own RC car, and I'm going to build it exactly the way I want it to be. It's going to have the length that I want, the width that I want, the power that I want. And it's going to be stupid. And it's not because I got to prove something to somebody. It's just because that's what I want. Everything that I bought and built, I made my own. That copter here, that's a 700 series ready to fly copter. Hexacopter. Oh, wait a minute. Which one is that? No, that's the 8. Is that the 800? No, that's a 700. That's a sweetie. She takes perfect videos. This is the copter that did the marshland flight through the swamp out back when the fall colors were at their optimum. This one up here, I made that one. I bought a top and bottom plate. I bought, I don't know, about 25 feet of tubing for various other projects, and I made that one what I wanted it to be. Now I've got other copters that are huge and large, and those videos are also on my channel. And most of my flights, other than the marshland flight, are not about quality of video. They're about the quality of the copters. Because I could care less about all the videos. I only did one video just to prove that I could do it, and it was for me more than anybody else. But this is what I do. And I don't throw parts at a problem, because that problem don't go away just because you bought a part. Okay? A lot of money for junk. This is, it's not all the parts. There's more. I don't know what else is needed, but this is where I'm at. So those of you who wonder where my skill level is, keep watching. I'll show you. Oh, and by the way, shredder body. This was folded in over here. All of this was curled. Wait, no, this is the one that was folded. You can see all of the wrinkles from the heat warp. I got